The global fandom erupted once again when Jin of BTS turned his attention to one very specific mission, pushing his emotional solo track, Don't Say You Love Me, toward the monumental milestone of 1 billion streams. As 2026 unfolds, the singer's renewed promotional efforts have ignited conversations across social media platforms, with fans interpreting his sudden activity as both a celebration of the song's longevity and a bold declaration of new ambitions for the year ahead. Originally released to heartfelt acclaim, Don't Say You Love Me quickly became one of Jin's most beloved solo records, praised for its restrained production and raw vulnerability. The song's aching melody and intimate vocal delivery resonated deeply with listeners, turning it into a steady, long-term performer on streaming platforms rather than a fleeting viral hit. Over time, playlists across continents kept the track alive, quietly stacking up numbers while new listeners continued to discover its emotional pull. But early in 2026, Jin appeared determined to bring the song back into the spotlight in a far more visible way. Through subtle yet strategic posts on fan platforms, short behind-the-scenes clips, and playful comments during live broadcasts, he repeatedly mentioned the track, encouraging fans to revisit it and stream together. What might have looked casual on the surface was instantly decoded by ARMY as a coordinated push toward a historic record. Hashtags referencing the song's march to 1 billion began trending in multiple countries, while fan-run streaming parties and countdown graphics spread rapidly across X, TikTok, and Instagram. Industry observers were quick to note how rare it is for a track to receive such sustained, artist-driven promotion years after its release. In Jin's case, the campaign felt less like a corporate strategy and more like a personal challenge shared with his audience. He joked about watching the numbers climb, teased fans about their homework, and expressed genuine gratitude whenever milestones were crossed, transforming what could have been a dry, statistical chase into a communal event fueled by affection and loyalty. The renewed focus on Don't Say You Love Me also sparked broader discussions about Jin's musical direction in 2026. Many fans see the billion-stream target as symbolic rather than purely numerical, a marker of how far his solo work has traveled since its debut, and a prelude to whatever new projects might be waiting in the wings. Speculation has already begun about potential performances, special live versions, or anniversary-style content that could accompany the next major streaming threshold. Streaming analysts point out that reaching 1 billion plays is no small feat, even for artists of Jin's stature. It requires not only a massive core fandom, but also continuous organic discovery by casual listeners around the world. The fact that Don't Say You Love Me remains in steady rotation years later speaks to its emotional universality: heartbreak delivered with restraint, longing wrapped in soft melodies, and a vocal performance that feels almost confessional in its intimacy. As the numbers continue to rise, Jin's open enthusiasm has only intensified the momentum. Each new update becomes an event, every minor jump in the counter celebrated like a victory lap, and every message from him feels like a direct invitation to participate in history. For fans, the mission is clear: keep streaming, keep sharing, and keep proving the lasting power of a song that refuses to fade. With 2026 shaping up to be another landmark year for BTS members individually, Jin's billion-stream quest adds a compelling narrative to the broader picture of their evolving careers. Whether the milestone is reached sooner or later, one thing is already certain: the journey itself has reinforced the unique bond between artist and fandom, turning a simple promotional push into a global, collective effort driven by emotion, nostalgia, and unwavering support. Behind the scenes, industry insiders have suggested that Jin's renewed focus on the track may also align with a larger strategy unfolding this year. While no official announcements have been made, the timing has fueled speculation that upcoming solo activities, festival appearances, or special collaborations could give Don't Say You Love Me fresh exposure to new audiences. Even a single live performance clip or acoustic reinterpretation, fans argue, could trigger another surge in discovery, especially in an era where short-form video platforms can revive songs overnight. Fan communities, meanwhile, have mobilized with remarkable precision. Streaming guides circulate in multiple languages, time zone-based listening schedules are shared daily, and creative projects such as digital billboards, charity drives, and themed playlists have emerged as symbolic offerings tied to the song's climb. For many supporters, the push toward 1 billion streams is about more than breaking a record. It has become a way to honor Jin's artistry and repay years of comfort his music has provided. The emotional weight of the track has also taken on new layers as listeners revisit it in 2026. Some fans point out how Jin's voice has matured since the song's release, making its lyrics about love, hesitation, and vulnerability feel even more poignant in hindsight. Online essays and reaction videos dissect the arrangement and vocal nuances, while first-time listeners, drawn in by the renewed buzz, often describe being surprised by how timeless the production feels compared to current trends. Music critics have joined the conversation as well, revisiting the song in retrospective reviews and praising its minimalist approach in a landscape often dominated by maximalist pop production. Several commentators have argued that its slow-burning success is a case study in longevity, a track that never relied on shock value or fleeting virality, but instead accumulated impact through emotional authenticity and word-of-mouth devotion. Jin himself has continued to keep the tone lighthearted, occasionally posting screenshots of the rising numbers or reacting with mock disbelief when fans report new milestones. Yet in quieter moments during broadcasts, he has spoken about how meaningful it is to see a song he poured so much emotion into still being embraced years later. Those brief reflections only deepen the sense that this campaign is rooted in personal pride and gratitude rather than pure ambition. As winter turns into spring, anticipation is building around what the next phase of this journey might look like. Will Jin surprise fans with a commemorative performance once another major threshold is crossed? Could a special remix or stripped-down version appear as a gift to supporters who have stayed loyal since day one? While nothing has been confirmed, the possibilities alone keep the conversation alive and the streaming counters ticking upward. What began as a gentle nudge from an artist toward his own catalog has now transformed into a global movement powered by coordination, nostalgia, and shared excitement. In the fast-moving world of pop music, where attention shifts daily, Jin's "Don't Say You Love Me" is proving that emotional connection still has extraordinary staying power. And as 2026 continues to unfold, fans remain laser-focused on one number, waiting for the moment when the counter finally flips to 9 digits, ready to celebrate not just 1 billion streams, but the enduring legacy of a song that refuses to be forgotten. The ripple effect of Jin's renewed push has begun reaching far beyond his core fanbase, seeping into wider pop culture conversations. Casual listeners who had not revisited the song in years are rediscovering it through trending playlists and algorithm-driven recommendations, while younger audiences, some encountering the track for the first time, are folding it into their own online soundtracks. On TikTok and YouTube Shorts, snippets of the chorus and emotional bridge have quietly resurfaced as background music for reflective vlogs, travel montages, and late-night confession-style clips, adding yet another layer to the song's second life. Radio programmers in several markets have reportedly taken notice of the spike in digital activity, slotting the track into late-night or throwback-style segments where ballads traditionally thrive. For industry watchers, this cross-platform momentum is exactly what can push a song from impressive longevity into true landmark territory. The path to 1 billion streams often depends not only on fandom power, but on these wider waves of rediscovery, and "Don't Say You Love Me" now seems to be riding both at once. At the same time, Jin's broader artistic narrative in 2026 continues to frame the campaign in a compelling way. With BTS members each carving out distinct solo identities, his choice to spotlight a tender, introspective song reinforces the emotional signature that has long defined his work. Many fans interpret the move as a quiet statement that vulnerability and sincerity remain central to his artistry, even as the group's global stature and individual careers keep expanding into new territories. Merchandise designers and fan artists have also joined the celebration, creating limited edition digital posters, lyric-inspired illustrations, and countdown graphics marking each new milestone on the road to the billion mark. Some projects have taken on philanthropic dimensions, with donations to charities being pledged for every 10 or 20 million streams added, turning the streaming race into a collective act of goodwill that mirrors the warmth Jin often expresses toward his supporters. International fan bases have organized multilingual campaigns to introduce the song to new regions, translating lyric explanations, producing short documentaries about its creation, and highlighting emotional moments from Jin's past performances. These efforts underline just how global the push has become, transforming what might once have been a niche anniversary celebration into a coordinated worldwide event. As speculation continues to swirl about possible official acknowledgments from Jin or his agency once another major plateau is reached, the atmosphere within the fandom remains electric but patient. There is a shared understanding that the milestone will arrive when it arrives, and that the story being written along the way is just as important as the final number itself. Each stream, screenshot, and trending hashtag becomes a small chapter in a much larger narrative about longevity, loyalty, and the slow burn power of a song that keeps finding new hearts to move. With the counter inching higher week by week, 2026 is shaping up to be a defining year not only for Jin's upcoming projects, but also for the legacy of Don't Say You Love Me. Whether accompanied by surprise performances, special releases, or simply another heartfelt message from the artist himself, the eventual arrival at 1 billion streams already feels less like a distant goal and more like an approaching celebration, one that underscores how deeply a single song can travel when an artist and his fans decide to chase history together.